Welcome to the Quest Forums channel and to According to Mark. We are entering Mark chapter 10, and there's an important transition that takes place here. Up to this point, Jesus has been going through his Galilean ministry, and he has been identifying himself as the Messiah, the Son of God. And that's the way that the first verse of the book puts it. But now he's done so to his satisfaction for the people who care to understand that, who care to see what's really going on. And so he begins to move towards his purpose. So after showing who he is, he now goes on to what he has come to accomplish. And he moves towards Jerusalem and to the last week of his ministry. And Mark chapter 10 is where that journey begins. But along with that, Jesus continues to teach his disciples, and here he teaches them a number of important things on what it means to be in his kingdom, what it means to be Christians. So we see this in a number of stories where Jesus meets with little children and then explains that this is what we must be like in order to enter the kingdom of heaven. He's not saying that we have to be pure and innocent. We're certainly not that. He wouldn't have needed to come if we were. But rather he's saying that we are totally dependent and that there's not really much to us. So we certainly aren't deserving of salvation, but it's available to us if we rely on him. Next is the story of the rich young ruler, this young man who does believe he has it all together. He has money, he has self-justification and all the good works that he's done. But he does understand that he's lacking something, and he seems sincere in that, and Jesus tries to help him. Explains that he needs to give up everything that he has and instead come follow the Lord. But he can't do it. He can't give up what he has. And this really goes to something that's very difficult for all of us, to learn that dependence, to learn that we have to be willing to sacrifice what we have, knowing that it all belongs to God anyway. And that if he asks for it, we should give it, recognizing the fact that we cannot buy our way into heaven with it. And we cannot earn it with how intelligent we are or how good we are at following the rules. No matter who we are, we still need forgiveness. We still need what Christ has done. And this is contrasted with the story at the end of the chapter of blind Bartimaeus, who, in spite of being blind, sees who Jesus is. He knows he's the Messiah. And he calls out to him in faith, and that faith is rewarded. And Jesus calls back to him. And when he does, in contrast to that rich young ruler, he throws off everything that he has. It wasn't very much to begin with, but that coat was something that he needed for his survival. But he still leaves it behind to go to the Lord, where he is healed. And he's saved because of his faith. And he follows Jesus from there. He was able to make that decision to be dependent, even though it meant risking everything. And so this is the lesson for people who are in the church today, is that this is the attitude that we're supposed to have, that we are supposed to rely on God, that we're supposed to be dependent, recognizing that we're nothing without him. But along with that, that teaches us humility, and that's tied into service. And this is what we see in verses 42 through 45, where Jesus explains that in the church, because we know we depend on God, that we should be willing to serve others. That our goal should not be to climb over the backs of others and then step down on the people below us, but instead that we should know that we are all in need of God's grace. And this is ultimately because we are supposed to be reflecting Christ, who is actually higher than any of us are. He's the creator. He deserved to come down and be served by his creation. But instead, he served us, and he gave his life as a ransom for many. That was his purpose. That was why he came. That's why this verse, along with Mark 1:1, are the two most important verses in the Bible, because they say who he is and what he's done. And we need to recognize the importance of that. And that's what we're relying on, is the fact that he has paid the price for sin that we never could. And then because he has, because of the love that he's shown, we should show that love as well to him and to the people around us. That is ultimately what it is supposed to look like to be a Christian. This is what we are called to be. So what are your thoughts on that? What do you think of this passage? Is there something that I've said here, or maybe in the article that goes with this video, that has you thinking and you want to make a comment on that? Or maybe you have a question about it or something else in the Bible. Just go ahead and leave that below. Thanks very much for checking out this video, and until next time, keep looking up.